Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Colin at Black Dog Outdoor Sports. Today again is another video on the 10 essentials of survival. The topic of today is going to be fire. So fire is one of those things that man has created long time ago that makes us feel really comfortable and really safe, warm obviously, and it's a great way for us to signal and cook food. So fire is extremely important for us from a morale sense and also a survival sense. So when we're building our fire kit, the first thing that we want to kind of consider is going to be having a container that we're going to put our fire making material in so that it stays dry. And then I'm going to want to place that in my pack somewhere where it's closely accessible. Again, in case there's an emergency and I'm stuck someplace, I need to be able to find it and get to that fire almost as soon as possible. So this is a Magpul brand DACA pouch. It's very flat, very smooth. It's waterproof. It's got great zippers. I use these for ammunition and first aid supplies and many other things. It has tie-on points, or so you can clip it onto something or into something. It's just really neat. It's a cool bag, good design, and they're not crazy expensive. They have them in 4 different sizes. So have a container. Nalgene bottles again are really good. They're super durable. They're watertight. That's going to house a bunch of stuff. So when we're making fire, so there's like the fire triangle. So you need certain things in order to build fire. So you need like heat, which is going to be kind of our ignition. You need fuel and you need oxygen. So all 3 of those things are going to combine to give us the opportunity to make fire. So there's many different types of fire starting materials out there. So super simple in my brain, I'm going to think of like a lighter. So lighters are handy. They're pretty easily usable. Matches, strike anywhere are my favorite. Strike on the box are okay. Those survival matches that have kind of a waxy coating on them that will prevent them from getting saturated. So if they're damp or wet, they'll still technically work. So matches are really good. The downside with lighters is that they can break and leak. And sometimes in really cold weather, they don't work all that well. But if your hands are wet and you're trying to use that flint, it may not light as well. So matches are a great go-to always. A lighter doesn't take up much space, doesn't weigh a lot, super cheap, great idea to have. Flint and Steel is another really wonderful tool. Flint and Steel takes a very long time to master, and it takes a lot of material and tinder to actually get it to work just right. So it could be fairly frustrating. So practice using Flint and Steel. Actually, practice making anything, fire related, because in a pinch, it's going to be a lot harder than you think. So make sure that you've got some good skills when it comes to making fire. Some things to help with that process are going to be these like super easy go-to fire starting sticks. You light them, they've got wax and stuff inside that are going to burn. So that kind of helps, get everything on fire if it's damp and windy and so on. These are pretty neat. Have not tried this yet. It's like a pellet that it's like a dust that will light, and you can kind of push it around and move it and build it up into a big pile. So this is pretty handy. You can also make fires with lenses. So a magnifying glass, reading glasses, anything like that. You can direct that into the sun, and then that beam will burn the tinder type material. So out in the field, where do I get tinder if I don't go prepared with something? Old birds' nests that you may find on the edge of fields and so on, dried up fabric, leaves, that kind of thing. Crumble it up really fine, make a bowl or a nest out of it, and then try to ignite the center of that with your flint and steel, or focus your light beam inside, or that's where you want to get your fire starting material inside that nest-like material. Squaw wood, I don't know if that's like technically okay to say anymore, but it's what I refer to back from when I was in Boy Scouts, which was a long time ago. On pine trees, near the bottom of the pine tree, you have all those really fine, light, small, dry, dead branches. You can break off a ton of those, ball those up, make that a nest, if you will, and it's got residual sap in it from the pine tree. It's super dried out, and that works wicked good. So when we're building our fire, we have it started, we need more fuel. And this is something that my kids will tell you they hate, because whenever we go camping and we're going to make fires, it's their job to go get wood. And they'll come back with like 5 sticks and say, okay, we've done it. It's never enough. There's never enough firewood in the pile, especially if you need to make a large fire or cook over fire or signal with a fire. Your job is going to constantly be finding wood. So make sure that you break up the different sizes of wood. in separate piles so that it's easy to feed and easy to go back. If it's going out, you can get the appropriate size. If you burn up all the small stuff and you're left with big stuff, you're basically going to be starting from scratch once again. So plan it out, make separate piles of things, start with really, really dry, fine, small tinder, and then build onto that as you go. So you can do a log cabin style, you can do a teepee style, you can do a nest style. Just practice, 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 practice. So again, fire is super important. We want to have a container to put all that stuff in. We want to have many different ways of making our fire. So having matches, lighter, mirror, flint and steel, all those things together are really good. And then if you want to cheat a little bit by having some of that fire starting material or fire log or whatever that is in your kit as well, it's only going to help. All right, so if you have questions, if you need practice of building fires, certainly come by and see us. We are experts in this, and we can help you along. Keep your lines tight and shoot straight.